Good evening. We're going to begin on this Veterans Day by remembering all those who have served the nation in time of war and taking a Monday look at how well the country is doing in this time of peace. At Arlington National Cemetery this morning, on behalf of the nation, President Bush paid tribute to those men and women who have served and in many cases died on foreign soil. Mr. Bush had particular praise for the veterans of Desert Storm. They not only freed a captive nation, the president said, referring to Kuwait, but they set America free by renewing our faith in ourselves. The president's words this Veterans Day, which, as the president knows, are in some cases being fairly widely debated in the country, especially with no obvious sign that the recession is coming to an end. A regular survey of small business owners published today gives another hint that times are hard. Business optimism, the survey says, has been falling since July. Here's ABC's Stephen Ogg.
At Southern Pan Services, a commercial construction firm in Atlanta, they expect to lay off about a third of their workforce by the end of the year.
Right now, commercial construction is at about a 5-year low, and we expect it will continue that way for probably 2 to 3 more years.
At the Cahan Travel Agency in McLean, Virginia, business is not good now, and the future doesn't look any better.
Right now, we have agents reading books and falling over each other looking for things to do, and normally they would be very busy making reservations, running tickets.
Their problems are typical of more than 2,000 small businesses that took part in the quarterly survey of the National Federation of Independent Business. Small businesses represent about half the nation's economic activity. If their business is poor, that means a sluggish economy and fewer jobs.
We'll probably see unemployment rates staying high through the end of this year and through most of next year because very little is going to happen to get the economy started again and increase the demand for labor.
There is some good news in the survey about inflation. The smallest percentage of firms on record plans to raise prices, and there's more price cutting than at any time since the last recession. Stephen Ogg, ABC News, Washington.
Well, not everybody in the country, but a great many people look to government to see if there are any solutions in sight after taking a long weekend off, including Veterans Day. Congress and the White House come back to full bore tomorrow. Joining us this evening from Washington on Capitol Hill, ABC's Jim Wooten, and at the White House, ABC's Britt Hume. Jim, let me start with you. Congress doesn't have an awful lot of time before the end of the year. What does Congress think it can accomplish for people in need before, say, Christmas or the New Year?
Well, I expect that not many of the members of Congress who will be returning tomorrow have a great deal of optimism about what they can do. There are a lot of reasons for that. There are 4 principal ones. One is the pace of Congress is traditionally slow. It's bogged down in most of its rules and its machinery. Second, there's politics. Both parties are going to be jockeying for positions on a lot of these issues that have now translated themselves into social programs or suggested programs like national health care insurance. Third, there is the matter of the budget agreement, which was worked out last fall and which mandates that everything they do up here has to be deficit neutral. That is, it can't add 1 red cent to the deficit. And fourth is simply the absence of any discretionary money. 2/3 of all the budget now is gobbled up by entitlements and by debt service. There just isn't that much money around, and I don't think anybody who comes back here tomorrow thinks they're going to get anything done of significance very quickly.
Okay, well, let's go over to the White House where Britt Hume is standing by. Britt, the president and his advisors must surely feel the pain in the country, particularly those who are feeling it economically. What are the plans there between now and the end of the year?
Well, Peter, there's really only one legislative measure that the president and his team would like to see passed, and it's not an idea that originated here at the White House at all. It's the extension of unemployment benefits to many of the workers whose benefits have run out. The administration didn't think the slow economy was going to last this long and didn't originally think that any such measure was needed. It's changed its mind now, has the administration, and would like to see something, a compromise version with Congress passed, but the issue is still bogged down over the question of how to fund that, so it's not clear that it will come, but the administration will push hard, if belatedly, for that.
Let me ask you both to answer very briefly. Any sense of political alarm at the White House, Britt, about the president's future, given the state of anxiety in the country?
Peter, the president and his team have always thought that there was only one domestic issue that could beat him, and that was the economy. And this slack economy is a cause, if not yet for alarm here, of considerable concern and worry.
And in a phrase, same question to you, Jim Wooten.
Well, I don't think these congressmen think in national terms at this point, not at least about politics. They're worried about how all of this cuts in their own district or their own states. And it seems to me that's how they're sorting things out at this point.
Okay, Jim Wooten, everything. Thanks both very much for your Monday morning thoughts or Monday evening thoughts. In a moment, watching the human mind actually at work. We begin the 4th year of the American Agenda by reviewing an experiment in conservation. And find this evening grandparents on stage undermining some myths about growing old.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Ralston Purina Company of Checkerboard Square.
News at 8.